Hi everyone, in today's lesson we will talk about the transformation of logarithms. So please turn to a new page of your notebook, write down the date of today and the learning target. And before we start the new section, I will give you a revision on equation of straight line, as we are going to use the concept in this section. So first, please help me to draw the xy axis on your notebook. Afterwards, please help me to randomly draw a straight line on the xy axis. And do you still remember how can we present the equation of straight line? And the answer is y equals to mx plus c. And as you can see, the y means the y-axis, and the x is representing the x-axis, and then for m, it is representing the slope of the straight line, while the c is representing the y-intercept. Okay, so this form a equation of straight line. Okay, more than that, do you still remember how can we calculate the slope of a straight line using two coordinates? So that is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And these two are the fundamental concept and the knowledge in the equation of straight line. So now we will take a look of one example, that is example 7.12 in your textbook, page 7.22. So in this question, I will talk about how to transform logarithms. So let's take a look of the questions together. So an exponential function is given, that is v is equals to ab to the power t. And the questions show you the graph of log v against t, and it is also given that the graph passes through 2 points, and they are 0, 2 and 5, 1.5. So part A, it asks you to express log v in terms of a, b and t. That means we have to do the transformation in this part. So how can we do it? And we will start with the exponential equation, that is v equals to a b to the power t. So our first step is take log on both sides. So now you can see that the log v is here. That means we don't have to do anything of it. As for the right hand side, we have log ab to the power t. Then we can apply the properties of logarithm. Log ab equals to log a plus log b, so that we can separate into log a plus log b to the power t. Afterwards, we can put the power t in front of the log b, so that we have log a plus t log b. And finally, we just change the order of the terms, so that we have log b times t plus log a. And why do we have to do that? The reason is we want to transform it into y equals to mx plus c. And how do we know that we finish the question, and the answer is we have to compare our results with the graph given in the question. So let's see. So for the y-axis, that means it has to be log v. So let's see the graph. It is equals to log v. Okay, so similarly, when we take a look of the x-axis, so it has to be t. Then we know that we have finished the question, and for the slope it is equals to log b, and for the y-intercept it is equals to log a. Then let's take a look of part b together. The question asks you to find the values of a and b. So we are going to use the result of part a again. So from the result of part a, we know that log a represents the y-intercept of the straight line. And from the graph, we know that the y-intercept is equals to 2. So therefore, we know that log a is equals to 2. Then we can convert the log using the base 10 and then to the power 2. And afterwards, we know that a is equals to 100. Okay, so similarly, when we consider log b, we know that it represents the slope of the straight line, and we have to calculate it using the two coordinates. So I will assign the two coordinates using x1, y1 and x2, y2. And afterwards, we can calculate the slope of the straight line using the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So therefore, we know that log b is equals to 1.5 minus 2 over 5 minus 0. So that log b is equals to negative 1 over 10. And again, we will do the conversion using the base 10 to the power negative 1 over 10. And finally, b is equals to 0.794. Correct to 3 significant figures. Okay, so for the remaining time, please help me to finish the crack practice 7.12. And for today's homework, that is exercise 7C, question 9, 10, 17. And for question 18, it is optional.